Look at CaitlinClark's arm. She has recorded just 8 non-technical free throws across her last 12 quarters, fueling plenty of frustration among fans. Now, fresh footage from the Fever's win over the Chicago Sky is drawing attention for another reason. The video appears to show Clark's forearm covered in marks resembling fingernail scratches. Fans believe the damage came from opponents grabbing and holding her tightly, struggling to keep up with her movement and creating even more controversy.
That Djonai Carrington had circled on her calendar and wanted the world to see happen tonight. And how did it turn out? CaitlinClark had 37 points, 10 assists, 8 threes, and we got this lovely reaction. But I want to point out something that happened in the game. Some of the Chicago Sky, including Djonai Carrington, to me, were looking for a fight this game. And Caitlin, instead of talking about it in the media, just did it with her basketball skills. And this is one of the plays that happened.
Indiana can regain the lead. Clark, another step back three. Yes. And a little bit of passion afterwards. You love it.
So Dijonai purposely runs into Clark, and then Clark just waves her off. You can tell that Clark was just over that storyline and with that rivalry.
And here's the part that makes the footage especially uncomfortable to watch. Almost none of the contact appeared to draw a whistle. Possession after possession, defenders seemed to be grabbing Clark's jersey, arms, and body as they tried to slow her down. Fans argue this wasn't an isolated incident, but part of a pattern that has developed over several weeks. The viral post that sparked the conversation captured the frustration perfectly, turning attention toward the growing debate surrounding how Clark is officiated.
Took the ref 30 business days to call this foul on CaitlinClark. But of course they want to demonize Clark and be like, she was overreacting. She's the most fouled player in the league. What are we doing? Why was the whistle not blown right here? Grabbing her, blow the fucking whistle, man. And then she had to do all this again to finally put her hand up. Like, what are we doing, man? Enrique's ugly ass falling down all over the place, foul call. You look at Asia Wilson, foul call, but it takes the ref looking direct. Look, why is her hand not up? Takes the ref 30 business days to call this. But let's demonize Clark. No, all these players fear CaitlinClark. They fear for their lives when this woman is on the court and they have to hack her, tackle her. I done see some tackle Clark in this game and everything because she's the 11th best guard and we're going to guard her this way though. Like, you guys are fucking ridiculous, man. It's like the refs just want Clark to get beat up and hacked. These people just want her to just play through it. And it's like, it's not part of the game to get fouled and have to play through it.
CaitlinClark has recorded just 8 non-technical free throws across her last 12 quarters. 8 free throws in 3 full games of basketball. That's not a typo or a meaningless sample. It's nearly 3 complete games where one of the league's most heavily defended guards has barely reached the foul line at all.
To show you 10 missed calls last game, that CaitlinClark got fouled and the ref never called it. There's a moving screen. She's moving all over the place. Hits her with the shoulder, like always. Look at this. Fouls her, holding her, and fouls the crap out of her. No foul. Look at this. She got fouled the whole game. They didn't call this a foul. Look at this one. Like, her body's all over her. How is that not a foul? Look at this one. Cardosa swipes her once, twice, just tries to grab her. Can you imagine being fouled the entire game? Every time you hit half court, every time you dribble, every time you drive. Look at this. Sheldon clearly has her hand on CaitlinClark's shoulder when she's shooting it. They even showed a replay. It's exactly where I thought it was. Watch this. Her arm is on CaitlinClark's shoulder the whole time.
Think about what that number really means, because it's easy to see a statistic like that and simply scroll past it. Free throws exist because the rules recognize that certain levels of contact become illegal. So when a player like Clark appears to absorb constant grabbing, pushing, and physical pressure, yet reaches the line only a few times over 12 straight quarters, it raises serious questions. It doesn't necessarily mean she has suddenly stopped drawing contact. Instead, it suggests the whistle may not be keeping pace with the physical defense she is facing. And if the defensive pressure continues increasing while the calls remain limited, fans are naturally going to question the consistency of the officiating and whether Clark is receiving the protection the rules are supposed to provide.
For this WNBA player to be suspended after she intentionally pokes CaitlinClark in the eye, you can see here she misses the ball with an open palm and then hones it into this little sharp pointy hand and jabs it right into her eyeball. One more time. right in the eye. And believe it or not, she didn't even get a foul for this. It was so intense as well that as the game progressed, you could tell she was getting a black eye just from the hit. There is no doubt in my mind that what this WNBA player did was 100% intentional, and honestly, I think it should have a huge suspension.
Let's be honest about what appears to be happening on the court week after week. When defenders struggle to stay in front of Clark, some seem to rely on increasingly physical tactics. If a blatant foul is too obvious to escape the whistle, smaller forms of contact can become harder to notice in real time. A quick grab, a tug, or even a scratch may happen during the chaos of a possession, only becoming obvious when the replay is shown later. That's why fans are starting to connect the dots and question whether the physical defense is going too far. At some point, it stops looking like ordinary competitive basketball and starts raising concerns about whether repeated contact is intended to frustrate Clark, wear her down, force mistakes, or potentially cause an injury that could limit her impact.
Wasn't called a foul. This wasn't called a flagrant foul. There was no whistle blown on this play. This play never went under review. This play has absolutely nothing to do with basketball. As you can see, the ball is all the way over there. This is just someone getting mauled. The WNBA is stupid and is not as serious.
And this is exactly why the free throw statistic matters. It isn't simply a number being repeated online to create controversy or generate engagement. When you look at hard fouls, uncalled tackles, off-ball holding, and contact away from the action, the argument becomes much harder to ignore. Clark appears to absorb significant physical pressure while receiving relatively few trips to the line in return. She takes contact, gets back up, runs down the court, and continues attacking on the very next possession. That level of resilience can easily get overlooked amid the surrounding controversy. Many players might become hesitant, avoid contact, or stop attacking the same areas after repeated uncalled physical plays. Clark, however, has continued pushing forward. Instead of backing away from contact, she keeps attacking, competing, and challenging defenses despite the physical pressure she faces.
These are plays we've seen from Dijonai.
These are the plays. Look. Yanking her down. Oh, that's a basketball play, y'all. And tell me if you notice a common denominator. Look. Basketball play, look. Basketball play. I didn't know you can rip somebody's hair out. That's a basketball. Look. Ankle injury. That's a basketball play, y'all. Look, poke right in the eye. It's not this many basketball plays in the world. There's not this many coincidences in the world. She went up like this and came down like this and poked an eye. Knocked her all upside her head. Now she got to see. Like, this is what you call a track record. Look, not even going for the ball. Like, come on.
But that's what Djonai Carrington does.
And we know, and that's been part of the problem, because we've been telling y'all, this is what she does.
This isn't the first time DJ Carrington's name has been mentioned in discussions about physical play involving CaitlinClark. Fans have raised concerns about their previous matchups, including a playoff moment when an uncalled swipe near Clark's face went viral and sparked widespread debate. The frustrating part for many viewers is that these incidents often seem to become major conversations only after the game, when slow-motion replays reveal details that were difficult to see live. That pattern has continued to fuel questions about consistency in officiating and how physical contact involving Clark is handled. And while these discussions have been unfolding, Clark has continued producing on the court and making her own mark on the record books. Her resilience has remained one of the biggest parts of the story. Now, a viral post highlighting her latest statistical achievement is circulating alongside the footage of her arm, and when you place those numbers next to the controversy, the contrast becomes even more striking. Most 30 10 assist games in WNBA history, CaitlinClark, 5. The rest of the WNBA history combined, 4. Sit with that statistic for a moment because the difference is difficult to ignore. Across WNBA history, every other player combined has recorded just 4 games featuring at least 30 points and 10 assists. CaitlinClark alone has 5. She has reached that mark more times than the rest of the league combined, despite having played only a fraction of the seasons that many established stars have. This isn't simply a short hot streak or a few impressive performances against favorable competition. It represents an extraordinary level of offensive production from a point guard. And what makes the achievement even more notable is that Clark has continued producing while facing intense defensive pressure and significant physical contact. Instead of slowing her down, that pressure has become another part of the story surrounding her remarkable performances.
Clark now has more 30-point, 10-assist games in her career, with 5, than the rest of the WNBA has combined in league history. Let that sink in. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee while that sinks in. Yeah, by herself, she's got more 30-point, 10-assist games by herself than the entire league combined. entire league history.
It also raises a legitimate question about consistency across the league. WNBA guards deal with physical defense every night, and many receive calls for contact that Clark appears not to get in similar situations. That isn't criticism of those players. They're competing hard within the standards officials establish. The real question is whether those standards are being applied consistently. If the same type of contact is called a foul for one player but ignored when it involves another, that becomes more than a routine officiating mistake. It becomes a fairness issue. And in professional sports, fairness concerns can grow quickly when they continue without clear answers or meaningful adjustments from the league.
So, look at this. This is where you're like, this is loser shit. Oh, I'm going to pretend to flop. Dijonai just shoved Caitlin. She literally just walked into Caitlin and shoved her. Caitlin dribbled the ball and she just shoved her. And she just goes that. Caitlin didn't even throw her head back. And then waits for Caitlin, like, starts shit talking, throws her head back. Caitlin doesn't see her, and then goes and does it again. Like, that is the most loser shit ever. That is the most loser shit ever. Like, and the worst part is that Dijonai checked into the game while CaitlinClark was, while Caitlin was on the bench, and Dijonai started off really well. Really well, Dijonai started. As soon as CaitlinClark, as soon as CaitlinClark checks in the game, Dijonai suddenly is like, I don't care about basketball anymore. I don't care about basketball. The only thing that I care about is, can I go?
And that's what makes this storyline so difficult to ignore once you really look at the bigger picture. Clark isn't quietly struggling under the physical pressure or allowing it to derail her game. Despite facing grabbing, contact, and physical defense, she continues producing at an extraordinary level. Instead of backing away, she keeps attacking and delivering remarkable performances, including one of the strongest stretches of 30-point, 10-assist games in WNBA history. Every time defenders attempt to slow her with physical play, she seems to answer by producing even more. If the intention is to frustrate her, wear her down, or force her into a prolonged slump, the results suggest it simply isn't working. Her performances continue to speak louder than the controversy, and the numbers remain difficult to ignore week after week.
There's no way y'all trying to talk about CaitlinClark shooting 13 free throws. The same people that call Asia Special Whistle Wilson the GOAT, that shoots 50 million free throws a game. The same people that glaze Angel Reese, the free throw merchant that has to flop to get points because she can't shoot. Free throw merchant, but Clark got 13 free throws in a loss. But also, when Angel Reese gets a double-double and has a good game in a loss, it's glazed. But when Clark has a good game in a loss, they want to shit on it and do the opposite and be the goofies that they are, man. Goofy, man. Clark is the most fouled player in the league. She got the whistle that she deserved today versus the Dallas Wings, man. She should be shooting free throws like that every single game because people just hold on to her and try to foul her all the time because there ain't no...
That contrast really captures the entire story, and it's worth stating clearly one more time. Clark has recorded just 8 non-technical free throws across 12 quarters, even as defenders appear to be applying significant physical pressure, including grabbing and contact, that fans believe should draw more whistles. Yet during that same stretch, she has continued producing at a historic level, reaching statistical heights that remain extremely difficult to match. Those two facts side by side raise legitimate questions about consistency in officiating and how physical play is being handled. Clark keeps leaving the court with points, assists, and major accomplishments added to her resume. No matter how many defenders are assigned to slow her down, the physical marks may show the intensity of the defense she faces. But the record book tells a different story. The strategy clearly hasn't stopped her production. Her numbers continue speaking louder than the controversy surrounding them.
Think that the referees are in on it. Meaning, like, I think the referees potentially being directed by the commissioner are in on really screwing with this chick and really trying to, I don't know if run her out of the league or make her look stupid or what. Am I the only one that thinks this? She's on her 6th or 7th. I think at 8, you get suspended for a game. She picked up her 8th, but then, you know, they quickly reversed it.
All she got to become is lesbian.
Every single...
They'll quit.
Well, but what if she doesn't want to be lesbian?
Well, then she's going to have to get run off.
There's also a larger consequence that won't appear in any box score. When defenders can grab or hold Clark without consistently being called for it, it may send a message to other teams that this level of physical defense is acceptable. Coaches study film, and if they see certain tactics going unpunished, they may be more likely to incorporate similar strategies into future game plans. That's how an isolated incident can potentially become a broader league-wide pattern. Physical basketball is part of the sport, but there must also be a consistent standard for what crosses the line. That's why moments involving Clark deserve more discussion than a single viral clip. The real issue isn't one possession. It's whether officiating remains consistent as teams adjust to defending one of the league's biggest stars.
No foul called, so she could get hit, she could get assaulted, but they only call fouls if it's on her for not doing anything. That's what I've learned. Look at this. So Angel Reese could hit CaitlinClark in the throat, but CaitlinClark can't get near Angel Reese. What about this double standard? So she could elbow CaitlinClark in the chest to create space, but it's a foul on CaitlinClark, but CaitlinClark slightly moves her arm and the girl flops, and it's a foul on CaitlinClark. So
keep grabbing, keep scratching, and keep hoping the whistle stays quiet. One possession becomes another, then another quarter, then another game. CaitlinClark has already shown what happens next, doing it 5 separate times, more than anyone else in WNBA history combined. She gets knocked around, gets back up, and keeps attacking. That's the story right now. But this isn't about claiming every hard foul is intentional, or suggesting every defender is trying to injure her. Basketball is physical. Contact happens constantly, and not every bump or scratch proves malicious intent. The concern is the repeated pattern. When similar incidents happen game after game, while Clark's free throw numbers remain surprisingly low, it becomes something worth examining rather than simply dismissing. If the eye test and statistics continue pointing in the same direction, the league should at least review the situation carefully and determine whether officiating standards are being applied consistently.